MJ on my right here, Kenny on the left. Right? On my left. Questions for the student athletes?
MJ, a lot of talk about your versatility and all the different roles. What is it about this defense that you think fits you as you've gotten to know Coach Woody and all the options you might have?
Coach Woody, he's a smart guy. He's been around the game a long time, so he knows what he's talking about. He's got a lot of stuff planned for us, and I know he's got a lot of packages, a lot of ways that he's going to put the players on the defense in a position to make plays and get turnovers, because that's a big thing we need to do this year to help our offense.
You played here last year for Bowling Green. I think I've heard you say how loud it was and all that. Can you just describe in general, the MAC puts so many good players out, and just the chip on the shoulder that MAC guys have, and the desire to get to this level, the Big 12, when there's a lot of players that folks are missing on?
I feel like, I've just always had a chip on my shoulder, growing up playing. I feel like as a competitor, that's how you got to play. You always got to have a chip on your shoulder. You always got to have an edge to you. So I feel like no matter where you come from, if you're a competitor, you're going to have that chip on your shoulder to go out there and make plays for you and your teammates.
Kenny, what would you say your best trait is as a corner? Are you more inside, outside? How do you kind of really produce on the field?
I play on the outside. Last year was my first year playing a little bit of slot corner, but I'm a true outside corner, I would say. I'm one of my best traits is I'm a competitor, just always be a competitor. I'm just gonna keep going until it's over. It's not over until it's over, and I really believe things like that.
Is there a corner in the NFL you model your game after, like to watch film of, look up to?
I'll for sure say like the corner I've been watching the longest will either be Denzel Ward or Patrick Peterson. Pat Pete, he Arizona corner legend. I'm from Arizona, so it was just easy for me to watch Pat Pete.
Kenny, this team had, I think, just 2 interceptions last year. Do you think maybe by the first game you can remedy that and tie that mark?
I mean, that's always the goal. We trying to create turnovers no matter what. It just as a whole defense, it starts from the front and it works back through everyone, all 3 levels. So, that's definitely the goal, just to get as much turnovers as we can this year.
Kenny and MJ, who were the people, you both being in the transfer portal, who were the people that kind of that took you under your wing and just kind of showed you UC in the campus that kind of made you feel like, UC was home for you guys?
I'll start. I'll really just say I'll start with Coach Rowe and then Coach Nico. Because, when I came, they were gone on their break because they played a late bowl game. So when I came on my visit, there wasn't a lot of players, there wasn't a lot of people around. But, I really believed in what Coach Nico was preaching to me, And so far, he's been showing it to be true. So it's mostly just all the coaches and Coach Nico, and then when the guys came back, it didn't skip a beat with all the players. They welcomed us with open arms. They showed us the way, and they just showed us the 40-team mentality.
I would say it was pretty much the same for me. When I came in on my visit, a lot of the guys were on break, and I got to have a long talk with Nico, and he showed me the culture. He showed me how they work, and it was just something that I couldn't wait to see, couldn't wait to be a part of. And when all the guys came back, they just welcomed me with open arms. Like, what I'm saying, I'm part of the brotherhood now, so they treat me like one of their own from the start.
MJ, you have a unique situation. You played against the Bearcats at Nipper Stadium. When you walked off that field, did you think next year I could be here?
Walking off that field, I never would have imagined that I'd be in this position next year. It's just it's a blessing to be here. It's all part of God's plan, and I'm blessed to be here.
Kenny, where are you from in Arizona, and was that part of the appeal to come here? I think they go to Tucson this year, right?
I'm from Buckeye, so I'm from the Valley. This is the west part of the Valley, but we is going to play in Tucson, so I should have a good amount of people at that game supporting me for sure.
Kenny, being from Arizona, it's been, the weather here is a little different. How you acclimate yourself with some day early in the morning it might be snow on the ground, and then it's 50 degrees a little bit later in the afternoon.
I mean, that's something I'm not really used to. Arizona is just hot year round. We get sunny days in the winter too. So, they've been taking care of me. They gave me a good Nike coat, keep me warm. I just peel them off if it get a little too hot.
MJ, any of the, well, both of you, any of the receivers that we need to be aware of that some of these guys fans haven't seen yet? There's some new guys, so who should they look out to? Who's giving you fits, or is anyone giving you fits?
All of them, all of them work extremely hard, like extremely hard. Like they part of the standard. So, everyone out there I know is going to be able to make a play, no matter if they in the slot or outside. We've got a lot of playmakers on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I would say the same. It's work all around. You're not gonna get an easy day with anybody. It's gonna be real work every single day, and that's part of the reason we chose to come here, a bigger conference than we both were before. Just for the everyday work, not just for Saturdays, just getting us better on a daily basis.
Do you have a favorite position? And they talked about Sam, both safeties, outside corner.
My favorite position, if I had to pick one, I'd probably say safety. It's what I played in high school. But, whatever Coach Woody needs me to do for the defense, to help our defense, help our team, I'm going to do it because I'm for the team guy.
They have an ROTC cannon here. I see a photo opportunity somewhere.
Yeah, I heard it during the game, too, last year when I was here. So.
More than you'd like to, I think.
Yeah. At that point in time, way more.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, fellas.
Appreciate y'all.